Well guys, wasn't sure whether to call this video how to make 2.2 tyres fit the Redcat Gen8 or how to extend the Redcat Gen8 wheelbase, because in order to fit the 2.2 tyres you need to adjust the wheelbase, and it's very simple to do. So I'm going to get the camera down off the tripod, show you underneath the car exactly what we need to do. It shouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes work in order to increase the wheelbase, which will make the 2.2 tyres fit. Not ideally absolutely perfect, I will say guys, but substantial improvement to the fitment that I had on them the other day. Anyhow, the clearance on them is enough that I feel confident enough to have a quick bash around the yard with them at the end of this video. Anyway, as ever, if you like this stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, let me get the camera down, show you the underside of this baby. Okay, 2.2 tyres back on. Just to show you the problem I was having the other day is the tyres are catching on the inner bodywork on here. I'm now going to extend the wheelbase of the car. You've got three mounting positions. The rear of the front suspension that I'm talking about here is sat on the middle one at the minute. There's also a position to the side here. It can go in position to the front. So I'm going to shift this one to the front this side, then flip the truck over and do the same the other side. Now I'm going to pop that screw in through the front mount. Shift the suspension very carefully forwards. It strikes me at this point, with the twist on the car, it would be easier to undo this side of the suspension as well, move that point forwards at the same time rather than trying to do it a side at a time. Probably easier doing it from this angle to see. Just going to undo this screw. Now I'm going to put that in the front hole as well. I'm going to slide both out. Yeah, it's much easier now to move the whole suspension forwards. I'm trying to do this guys so my hands aren't in the way. There we are. Now I'm going to fasten both of these back up. That's the suspension moved. Then I'm going to adjust the shock turrets 5 mils over as well. Well, zooming in there guys, you can see I moved it from this middle position to the front position there. Probably about 8 mil further over. You can also move it from the middle position 8 mil further back. And you can do the same on this rear suspension on there. So that is how you extend the wheelbase, simply removing these two screws on either side. It is a lot easier with both screws removed at the same time for shifting both wheels back as one. Now I'm going to shuffle this shock tower mount at the front of the car also forwards to the frontmost position. Well guys, I've now shifted the shock from the middle mount to the front mount, because you want the shock ideally sitting in the same position as it was in relation to the drive shaft. So if I've moved this wheel 5 mil forwards, that's shock absorber really needs to move 5 mil forwards to my mind. Anyway, sure, people have their opinion on that. At this point guys, I will say the shocks on here, the spring is at its maximum position on it, so I've got the maximum flexibility on the car. I've not chosen to move it. You could cheat slightly on this by moving it down to restrict the travel on the car. Well guys, time to try the body back on, see if the 2.2s fit any better. I will point out, in this test, I'm doing the extremes of movement on here to see if it fails. In real world conditions, you're unlikely to put as much pressure as I am doing on here, but I wanted to show people the worst case scenario rather than like the best one, and then people fit them and then actually find it still fails. Are we any better? Bear in mind, it's only the front that I've changed the length and the wheelbase on there, guys. Now, immediately, they are clearing completely on that. Can fit my finger in round there. There's no fouling on there at all. Now they're actually catching a little bit on the front this side. I've got the body on, it's perfectly straight, but it seems to catch more on one side than on the other. But they're not catching, he says, at the back anymore, whereas that the other day they were fouling terribly on the back. Now on this, we may have had a result or not, depending on how you view this. At the front, we're no longer getting the fouling on the inside edge where it was quite dramatic. Bearing in mind, this is when you're leaning the thing right over. If you tighten that spring down, you're going to restrict the travel, and it's got to bottom out before it hits that position on there. So that is something to consider on there, doing that. I'll still the other side round. And this is the side it was fouling really, really badly on at the front the other day, on the inside edge on here, which is going to be an issue. Now that is catching a little bit on the front, but this is on the extreme side of things there guys. What I would say is there is that tiny piece of plastic on the inside edge there which can be trimmed off, so I'm going to get the scissors, remove that on both sides, see if that's a little better. So this is the little bit. I was trying to lift the car up just now guys, good as knows why. When you take the body off, its problem is solved. So what I'm just going to do is trim up to that screw head there. So with that bit of bodywork trimmed on both sides, should just gain that few extra mil on the clearance. Now chasing that bodywork off, the clearance there it's going to increase it minimally, but it is going to increase it nonetheless. Now if anybody's wondering, if you reach underneath when you're putting the body on, you can feel the inner fenders. I'll locate them front and rear to ensure the body is sitting exactly dead center on the chassis on there. Otherwise you're going to be fighting against yourself with the tyres. So that is much improved. Still very, very close at the front on there, but ooh, a little bit of clearance. This is extreme. Somebody suggested tightening the spring, which is going to increase your clearance over the tyre a little bit. And bear in mind, you're going to be riding high anyway because this is a much bigger tyre. But at the back, there is no failing at all anymore. We're checking this side out. On there, catching more at the front. The rear though, on this side, no catching at all on there. Okay guys, well there we are, 2.2 tyres fitted on the Redcat Gen 8. I did set the start, I'd take it out for a little bash around the yard, so let's go outside.
Well guys, I could take the Redcat Gen 8 out on a long trail run to see how the 2.2 tyres got on, or I could do the short step test in the garden to see just how good they are and to see whether they foul or not, as the case may be. So let's see how it gets on. Do you think it's going to get up those steps or not? Or are we going to foul on the arches on the way up and then on the way down? The other day guys, with the stock tyres on, and there was not a chance in hell it was going to get up it, but I am just wondering. Come on, come on, come on. I want to do a Richie yell. I just did not think that stood a cat and hell's chance of doing it. Been trying approaching it straight on, not getting there. Going up at an angle, managed to get it up the steps, boys. Now guys, in terms of clearance, on the way up, obviously, we're not going to be fouling, or we shouldn't be fouling, on either of the arches. Okay, well with all the weight on the front of the car, not getting any real fouling on there at all. So if you want to know how to fit 2.2 tyres to Redcat Gen 8, lengthen that wheelbase. Well, I've not done a first run video of this, have you like us yet? I've had a few transport issues which I won't go into, which are solved tomorrow, so we should get to go out and have a play with this car. But those 2.2 tyres are making mincemeat out of that climb, boys. Ooh, mama. 3S pack in here today, which is maybe a little bit too much. It's not barely, the back's barely even catching coming down that. Got to tackle that again to see just what it's like. The 3S pack was almost overkill on here. Look at that, just getting over that like nothing is even troubling it there. Oh, little stump. So we get them going over that. Oh, now I'm impressed. Now I'm officially impressed, Redcat.
So guys, hope you enjoyed that little demonstration of the Redcat Gen 8 with its 2.2 tyres on. And I personally think they fit quite well on there. Twisting the wheel from side to side when the car was pointing downhill, that should have most of the weight on the front of the car and putting it in a real world situation. They weren't fouling on there. I appreciate under some circumstances if you're leaning right over on the thing that it might do, but I'm putting my whole body weight on that thing. That's not going to happen in practice. So if you wanted to know how to make 2.2 tyres fit the Redcat Gen 8, now you know. Simply lengthen the wheelbase, just that 8mm difference, all it needed for the 2.2 tyres to work on a Redcat Gen 8. Anyway guys, hope you found that useful. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. We hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on the circle image to subscribe. And if you hit subscribe, then don't forget to hit that little notifications bell next to it.